2022 comes to a close, 2023 around the corner. What does it mean in the world of politics? Hi, I'm Brian Lilley, political columnist for the Toronto Sun, joined by fellow columnist and seer of all that is good in the world, Warren Kinsella, with your very happy love will tear us apart sign behind your head. All right, little shout out to Joy Division. Who should be overjoyed at their political performance over the last year? Anyone walking tall these days, or are you like me? I wrote that the other day that Jagmeet Singh can talk about leaving the coalition, the axis of weasels, but nobody's in a great spot for an election right now. What are your thoughts?
I totally agree. I mean, it depends how you define success. And I think both Trudeau and Poilievre had pretty good years. Trudeau, because he's still standing, he had some successes like his appearance before the inquiry into the use of the Emergencies Act.
Yeah, a
And
lot of people thought he'd fall on his face there, and he didn't.
I did okay. And Poilievre absolutely crushed his opposition in his run for the Conservative leadership, including, Jean Charest, who, used to be a pretty significant politician in his own right. So, I thought both those guys had some big successes in the year. But your point is absolutely right. Does anybody super inspire me at the federal level? Not really.
And Canadians aren't there yet. I mean, there was one Leger poll recently that had the Conservatives at 33%, the Liberals at 30, but that's still minority territory, possibly even depending on how things go. The Liberals still taking the most seats.
Which has got to be super frustrating for our conservative friends and readers. But it is a fact. The hacks and flacks will say to you the liberal vote is more efficient. And that's just kind of a fancy word for the liberal vote is concentrated in the places with the greatest number of seats. So, right now, as we saw with the Mississauga Lakeshore by-election just in the past few days, Trudeau is still competitive, however dislikable he may be to conservatives. So right now, you're absolutely right. Even with the conservatives a little bit ahead, as was the case with O'Toole and Scheer, Trudeau could still win the election.
There's one number that's of interest to me because you and I are geeks on this stuff. We look at the national numbers and go, oh, well, that's interesting. Show me the table, because we want to know, okay, how are they doing in the different regions? So, the Liberals and Conservatives close to tied, BC, Conservatives running away with it in Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Liberals running away with it in Quebec, in Atlantic Canada especially. But the Tories ahead by 6 or 7 points, according to Leger, in Ontario. That has the potential to change things. Obviously, it didn't with Mississauga Lakeshore, but if I'm sitting in Trudeau's PMO or Liberal Party headquarters, I'm worried about that number. Maybe not strong enough to say it's a trend yet, but you're like, okay, what happened there?
Yeah, Poilievre has, I was quite critical of him during the leadership. I didn't like the Bitcoin stuff, the World Economic Forum, conspiracy theories, the convoy stuff. He has kind of dropped all of that. And he's become, I think, a much more sensible opposition leader, focusing in on the number one concern of Canadians, which is the cost of living. And he's always been very good on that subject when he was in opposition and as a minister. And so I think he's playing to his strength. That should make the Trudeau guys concerned, because that makes Poilievre competitive. But right now, I think, the main point that you had, do Canadians want to have an election right now? They probably don't. They just seem to want to focus on, getting through the holidays and providing for their families and hoping interest rates go down.
Yeah. Let me ask you then, what do you foresee in the new year? You and I have been two of the guys who, when there is election talk, and look, minority parliaments, you've always got to prepare as if an election's around the corner. But we've always been the two guys, oh, could be coming this time, could be coming that time. These are the dates. I'm not hearing anything, so I don't see it in 2023. When will that change? How will it change? What do you expect for the new year?
Well, I think Trudeau would be crazy to go right now because he could lose. But he gave a big speech to Liberal staff, Liberal caucus, lobbyists, the annual Liberal Christmas dinner just a couple days ago. And everybody who was there said he sounded like a guy who's itching to have a campaign against Pierre Poilievre. He was mocking Poilievre for not campaigning in Mississauga Lakeshore, and he was definitely sounding like a guy who's not leaving, which gives some Liberals cause for concern. Because at the end of the day, the anger and the antipathy towards the Liberal Party of Canada, whether it's for gun control or their mishandling of inflation, is focused on Justin Trudeau. I think a lot of Liberals feel if they want to have a fighting chance, they've got to make a change in leadership. And it doesn't look like he's going anywhere anytime soon.
Poilievre versus Trudeau 2023. Get ready, buy your tickets, get your popcorn. Let us know what you think of what's coming in the new year. Drop a comment down below, share this on social media, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.